Magic has given us a lot of different versions of Middle-earth over the years, but these might be some of the most interesting cards Magic the Gathering has made. Pretty much what they have done is they got the Lord of the Rings set and updated some of the most famous cards there in a new pretty art style. I will say the cards I'll be showing off today are all beautiful in their own different way and style. So in today's video I'll be going over every single Middle-earth card that is getting a new updated art reprint in the new Hobbit set. If you've watched any of my other Hobbit or Lord of the Rings videos, you know that I've never been a big fan of 1. Universes Beyond or 2. Lord of the Rings. It's not that I dislike it, it just never caught my interest. So even though I'm going to be going through all the cards, I will say I will probably get names wrong and probably not a lot of lore adjacent stuff. My hard focus is on the art and the cards they picked. So if you are a huge Lord of the Rings fan and I got something wrong, please correct me down in the comments down below in a nice way, or give me some information that I can then watch lore-dump videos on. There are a good amount of cards when it comes to this, so I'm not just going to throw them all at you at once. I've broken them down by card type, starting off with the commander and so on and so on. So if you're interested, I'll be going through all the cards, giving my thoughts and opinions on them, and showing some amazing artwork that they have produced. But just before I go any further, if you like charity, I am trying to help Jacksepticeye and Make-A-Wish do the 5 months of Thankmas, where they're trying to hit the goal of 3 million, and I'm trying to do my small little part. So there is a QR code on screen and a link in the bio, so if you want to help out, please do share this video, share anything really if you have the money to give to charity and stuff like that. If not, let me know what people I should collab with or do stuff with to try and make videos to help sponsor or help get more money raised for this charity. Every little bit really does help. So now let's start with the legendary creatures. These are playable commanders as a commander lover myself. These isn't one single art style. Some of these feel old school fantasy book illustrations, while others are much more colourful, realistic and even a little strange. And because we've got characters appearing more than once, you can really see how differently each artist sees Middle-earth. The 2 Witch Kings are great examples. One is a huge chaotic battle scene, while the other feels more like a classic fantasy artwork. The same goes with Aaron and Soren. They're recognizably the same character, but the mood and style are completely different from card to card. And then there's the artwork like Tom Bombadil and the Gayfer, which brings in that colourful, cozy side of Middle-earth that gives us a break from all the orcs, fire and general end of the world business. Not every art style here is going to be for everyone, and I definitely prefer some over the others. But as a collection, I really like that they let the artists actually have their own identity instead of focusing every card to look the same. Not gonna lie, I did make a video years ago about Tom Bombadil and I did want to make a deck tech on it, and I never got the chance to. If this video gets 1,000 views, I will make a Tom Bombadil deck tech. Now, usually it's the legendary creatures that people hard focus on, but one of the most broken cards is weirdly in the creature section. And surprisingly, out of all of these, there was only 3 in total. Delighted Halfling is incredibly bright and colourful. It almost has this painted storybook feel to it, and I think it captures the happier side of the Shire really well. Then the broken card, Orcish Bowmasters. It goes completely in the opposite direction. They're disgusting, creepy, covered in leaves, and look something you absolutely do not want to spot in the forest. And then finally we have a covered horde dragon. This gives us a classic fantasy dragon artwork. Big wings, breathing fire, and dominating basically the entire card. This is a tiny little section, but I really do think that if you are a huge Lord of the Rings fan or a Hobbit fan, that these 3 in your collection will be absolutely breathtaking, or in some of your decks actually do find at least the Bowmasters still to be quite powerful, but overall all 3 have quite unique and quite strong powers. But now moving on to the spells. This time we have 6 cards, and again a massively difference between them. Some tell an entire story, like Raise the Parasites and Call Forth the Tempest, where there's so much happening that your eye can wander around the artwork picking out little details. Then you've got something like Guardrail's Dismissal, which is more abstract and focused entirely on Guardrail. Last, March of the Ents is probably one of my favourite cards here. The scale of the Ents compared to the Hobbits really sell how enormous these things are. But I have to mention Flame of Anor. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous, probably in my opinion the best artwork here. The massive fiery Balrog taking up nearly the entire image while Gandalf stands against it is exactly the sort of classic fantasy artwork I expected from The Hobbit. Overall, this is a really strong group of cards, probably the strongest out of them all. And the one thing I do love is the updated artwork. I do recommend if you have any of these and just want to bling out your deck, these are the cards to go for. So now we're on to the enchantments. When it comes to these, there is only 3 in total. I do think that enchantments are getting a bit of a slap around the last year, but there is still a pretty powerful and very beautiful card selection here. Dawn of a New Age is incredibly soft and almost dreamlike, while Flowering of the White Tree really leans into that traditional painted fantasy look. Then there's Elven Chorus. There's so much going on in the artwork, with all the different elves singing, eating and celebrating together. And that's something I'm really liking when it comes to these cards. They don't always show massive battles or iconic moments. Sometimes a lot of these cards is just about living in the moment. And I do like when they do stuff like this because it feels like this is aimed for collectors that love Magic the Gathering, love bringing out their deck, or love just collecting Lord of the Rings / Middle Earth Hobbit stuff. And when it comes to that, there's always weapons and items that they always use. So now we're going on to the artifacts. And they have a lot of iconic items that they use or have throughout the series, movies or games. We've got Glambring, both versions of Anduril, the Mithril Co and Palantir. I especially like Relic of Sauron. It's dark, imposing, and the burning crown in the middle immediately pulls your eye towards it. Bilbo's ring is great for almost the opposite reason. It's not really about the ring itself, it's about Bilbo's reaction to it, which gives the artwork a lot more character. And then there is the classic One Ring, which is probably the simplest artwork out of all the cards we've talked about today. It's literally just the ring dominating the entire image, but for something this iconic, I don't really think it needs much more. Overall, when it comes to artifacts and stuff like that, they just need to be simple. I just like when people are holding the weapon or item and then just having it, showing their reaction when they got it or if they're using it at that moment in time. Now when it comes to the One Ring, I do have one tiny complaint between this and then the Lord of the Rings set and stuff like that. For the One Ring, there is a lot of different variations of reprints of it that most people I've talked about this have lost count how many. I think there's like 12. I could be wrong there. Let me know in the comments down below. And then finally, when it comes to anything that is somewhat fantasy or anything like that, I do like looking at the lands. I always find the lands are the best kind of feel for where you are, and usually they do a really good job here. These are the places you've seen represented countless times, but again, every artist gets to give their own version of Middle Earth. The Shire is packed with tiny details that feel incredibly alive, while Rivendell looks almost ridiculously peaceful. Then you move on the darker side of Minas Morgul, the Black Gate, and Mount Doom, and the entire mood changes. I especially love Mount Doom. The massive eruptions, lightning, and the burning red sky that makes the place look terrifying. And then Minas Tirith give us a huge classic fantasy city that finishes everything off. I think these lands are perfect for someone who's into classic art series or landscapes, because there isn't necessarily one defining way these places have to look. I am an absolute sucker for someone who's done animation for years and stuff like that for a really good landscape. I find if you want to make an animation good, the best thing to do is the backgrounds. I absolutely love backgrounds, and usually when it comes to my favorite cards and stuff like that, majority of the time it is lands. I find lands are probably the best thing when it comes to story building and looking up beautiful artwork. Overall, my thoughts and opinions when it comes to this section as a whole. I actually do think it is a good idea that if you are doing a kind of side-on or something that is similar to something, kind of universes beyond thing, showing the old classic version of them in better artwork, all the most famous cards from that series in a brand new artwork, is a really good way to sell packs and a really good way for collectors. I do think the card selection is pretty much really good because they picked the best from the best, or what most people wanted to get their hands on, so this gives them a second chance to get them. I do find all the artwork to be amazing. There is not one complaint. I do find that it's really good that you can kind of see the different art styles. Pretty much it felt like, I could be wrong here, that they went, here is your card, do what you want, and they got the freedom to do it, and that's what I love when artists have the chance to do that. Overall, I'm going to give this an 8.1 out of 10. But as always, let me know what you would rank it down in the comments down below, and if you had a choice of 3 cards, which one would you pick? And while you're down there, remember to like, subscribe, share, do all that YouTubey stuff we always talk about. Also, if you can or want to help out, the charity link is here and still in the description below if you would like to help out. Even sharing it around does help with the potential of someone seeing it and trying to help out or do the same as you. And as always, if you liked this, I have the last video about Lord of the Rings scene boxes here, a playlist of all the Magic the Gathering Is It Worth It stuff here, and a subscribe button here, and I will see you all in the next video.